Thank you so much. You people will not see my face.
I beg to
So
be
I'm at
muted
work,
as
so
well.
don't just it's
I beg to be
mhm.
muted and off camera.
So you just hear my voice. Since I'm at work, it's not a conducive environment for me to put a video. So yeah, reading this chapter 9, it was interesting. I mean, like you said, it's like a movie. You see a next page of the movie. You see a next, let me say, a scene from the different scene. And this chapter 9, it says, know why, know how, and then what. Know how, know why, know how, then what. And this word here, when I read through it, I understand that that word is, then what is to, like, so you've known your why, you've known how to do it. Then what next? What next? So what is there? What here is like how to communicate what you have on the table, how to communicate your why. It's how to communicate your why for people to understand. And at the beginning of this chapter, you see, we were just explaining, something there. And what they were explaining is more of how, Apple started with their, it's like a commercial of Apple. They're describing a commercial of how they started. So everything is just, they lay it out there, how their commercial is. Um, and one thing, they're just describing how they take to get people to know about their product, to get people to, to get to put out, to put their why out there, get people to buy into their whatever, you buy into their why. And when I was reading, I realized from what they're explaining, it shows that, like their advertise, the way they advertise, they're trying to communicate to the people. They communicate for you to understand why you should get their devices, or whatever Apple has to offer, which we already know: phones, laptops, and all those things. And uh, there's one thing that I thought out from here that stands out. You realize that for their and they just see that the crowd is going this way, they follow without even understanding why. But when you empower one person, it is easy for that person to go and sit down one person and tell them. It might take time, it might take, energy and stuff, but the longevity is there. So that's why you see Apple has been out there for long, and they are still, because the people that believe in them, most of them didn't follow the crowd. So they want you to think different. They empower you. Just like how you take one person, you want to disciple someone to Christ, you disciple one person, they will be more connected, more in. So you understand now why, why they exist, because of that individuality. There are people that no matter who, and if you have because normally those individuals, they will definitely multiply. If you have one person that believe and call the other person and call the other person, that is how you will see expansion. That's why you see expansion in your organization, because the people believe in you and they have been empowered individually. Then the next paragraph, what I was looking at, I came, says, speak clearly and ye shall be clearly understood. So you have to express your why individual, clearly. So here they were just talking about, they showed a cone. There was a cone, a graph here. They were, showing that cone about the golden cycle. where you see the why, the how, and the what. That one is more organized. In this cone, you see at the top is what is stays in that company, the why of that company, the how of the company, and the what. That one always, that is, those golden circles stays in that company, and you have the marketplace. And that marketplace, that one stays at the at the bottom, because that one are the people that just come to benefit whatever they can benefit from what you guys have built from that company. But now the building of that company stays now in the golden circle, that golden circle of why, which is mainly, that why is mainly the CEO. It's mainly from the leader, whoever started that company, their why, it's mainly on them. And then that how, it start coming and what. And then again, now below that what, you start getting that marketplace where you just have maybe customer shareholders and all the other people that come in. But again, if this golden circle is not, if the golden circle is not well, is not well put out there, if it's not well put out there, the company will not really survive. That's why you see some companies, they fail, because their golden circle is not strong enough. So like we're just giving an example with like normally the why, which we say that is where normally compassion comes in, especially in that why. There's compassion that comes in when that why is really strong. Like me and when me and Frida were talking yesterday, I was just using her as an example, like how she produces those organic things, and her why for that is to eradicate or eliminate all these terminal diseases that are caused by eating all these manufactured or fortified foods and all these things, food that are not, are not natural, are not organic. So her why is so strong. So if that why is not strong, that which is part of the golden circle, you see, it will not, people, the message, might not really be passed to the people to get what your company or your organization has to offer. And while going through, we realize that when the company start growing, when the company is still small, you see that the leader, the CEO, normally is so involved in too many things. Sometimes they will go out, they will look for people, they will hire people, they will have interactions with people and things like that. Well, that's when most of the time when the company is small, it's easy. But then now, and during that time, that is when they build that solid foundation. So when a company is kind of small, it is very easy for the foundation to be very solid. It is easy for you to meet the CEO. It is easy for you to, meet the top people in those companies. And during that time, that is when they build the foundation. And while they are building that, some of the people that they themselves hire, you will see that they will make those people to understand their why. And when those people understand their why, when the CEO now step aside, you will see that that company will be flourishing, because when the company was small, the CEO invested time, invested money, and invested in people that will believe in his why. And then when coming down, why really say, and then when that company is still small too as well, that is where the personality of that company now start coming out through that the CEO or the leader or the main founder of that company. And when that personality has been brought out from the leader or from the founder of that company, you see that even when the company is big, when you call that person's name, that person personifies what that company represents. The leader now personifies, like now, let's just say, for example, we have, when you see the cement, well, let me give an example that you all know in Cameroon. The Nigerian guy, what's his name? What's that papa's name? That rich. When you see his cement, you just see, or when you see him, the first thing that probably comes in your mind is what? The cement, right? because he has already personified it. So the company now comes in a way, oh, sometimes we used to say power guarantee. When you see power, what you think about is the car, is the company guarantee. So they end up personifying their and when you see them now, they just represent it. Even and normally we know it's kind of hard to meet those CEOs face to face because they most of them, especially for a big company, they have already built. But again, they have built. But if you see their picture somewhere, what you see through those their picture is what you know, is what the company represents. So if you see Dangote now, you see the cement, you think about him, or you see him, you think about the cement, or you think about what they make, what they do, because they have invested so much that they just personify what their company, represent. And another thing that I was kind of looking at it, I say, wow, it was really very interesting because when, like now, if you ask, sometimes when you ask the CEOs, like sometimes why they do what they do, it's even hard for them to talk about. They get to a point where they cannot even talk about it because it's so huge. They have put so much into it that just like I said, just them has already just explained the why. Just seeing them has already explained, what the company is all about and things like that. So it was so practical when we when I was going through it. I say, wow, this is what we see in our practical in our daily life. And you see somebody who will say maybe mommy puff puff or mommy gato or whatever, all those things that they are doing, it end up. And then when I came again, phone, the other phone that I saw here, they were just explaining about the limbic brain that stays within the why and the how, and then the neocortex that stays with the what, what the company says or what they represent. So like normally when the leader is there, like we remember when we were talking about the biology of the golden circle, we saw that sometimes, like I just explained, some of them could not even explain the why, and they end up using, like when they want to, they just end up using like imagery, like metaphor to describe their why about the company. You see somebody, they will just describe some things that maybe you and I cannot really cannot really understand. But now they'll just use imagery, just like how that chapter that we saw, where sometimes they will ask you somebody that you love, what do you love about them? What is this? There's so many things they cannot really pinpoint. So that's where the CEO or the leader in the such company, they cannot even really pinpoint to you, explain you a particular thing, especially as far as their why is concerned. But now some of them will just be using like metaphors or use I just want to say how do we call it in literature? They'll use figurative languages. Let me put it that way. Good. Figurative language to describe. I'm sorry, or this my noise behind me here. Sorry, I had to do some noise control here behind me. So I was just talking about how sometimes when you ask a leader to explain to you their why and stuff like that, most of the time they'll just use a figurative language, like, or imagery to like say what how or use symbols to describe how, just to communicate, to communicate. They'll use those symbols, imagery to communicate their why out there, because maybe according to them, their why is so big to a point where even if they explain to you using maybe simple words, you will not really get it. But maybe if they use those imageries, and other things, then you might understand that, hey, this is really what this is all about. That's why you really see some companies are really, really thriving, because of the way they explain their stuff. And the um the CEOs, some of them, like, it comes to a point where it's even you cannot really see them. You cannot see them because the company is so big. They've got to a point where you won't see them. But now they have people now that they have already invested a lot in them that understand their why, because that is the greatest thing. And if a company gets more people that understand their why, that company will last. Like we saw it in the previous chapter, and it's still almost the same thing that is being explained in a different way. When they come and explain when they have people that understand their why, that come to work, even whatever is going on in their life, they see a need. They're not coming to work just because they want the money, but they are coming to work because they want to see a movement, because when there's a movement, the people don't even care now what they are really gaining. They just want to be part of it. They want to be part, because sometimes a movement end up being like legacy, where even if the founder is not even existing anymore, that's like a legacy that everybody want to be part of that. Everybody just want to be part of that legacy. So no, there are some people that might even work. They don't even care whether their salary are being increased or stuff like that. But they are just so much because the CEO sowed a seed, of their why in their lives, and now they are doing it. So I realized that this chapter 9 is mainly their greatest is to communicate. Of this is to communicate their why out there. And if the why is communicated out there and the people understand, first the employees, the people that are working, and then the consumers or customers, when they understand that's why you see some people get stuck on some products. They don't change. Like those who use iPhone, for example, they just stay with it. iPhone 1, 2, 3 coming, they are there. Or those who are using Samsung, they are there. So once they believe in it, and all this belief will come through communicating of your why, to make the people to understand your why. So that is the little things that I derive from this chapter. So if someone has any other thing to add, you can go ahead and add. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mommy Love. Lady Love, I always mix it up because I have
Anyone, some
Mommy
people
Love,
call me
like I
mommy love.
said.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
okay. Some
Uh-huh.
people call me mommy love, some people call me lady. Either one, I'm good. Mm.
All right. Thank you so much. Um, this chapter, like we said, thank you. You emphasized something very important that I saw. I typed it in the chat box when you were talking about
Mm.
how that Apple seeks to empower individuals. Apple empowers individuals. And that is how they spread. That is how their fire is able to spread fast. Love, you really emphasized I like, and that was one of my biggest takeaways. Another big takeaway, I'm facing a little challenge with my eyes. I lost my glasses. So reading is really challenging for me. But I'm trying. And so let me try to read something that I put down.
Uh-huh.
Just a minute, thank you. Before, as we get others to as we get others to bring in their contributions. While I was reading, I was very busy today, so I got my little niece to read with me, to read out for me, because I read for the first time by myself, and then I got her to follow me to the kitchen and to read while I did the things I was doing. And when she read, she got to the part where it talks about 1984 won't be like 1984. That's my catch. That's what I bring tonight. She said that 1984. She said that 1984 is a book that she studied in the A levels. And in 1984, yes, the writer, George Orwell, whom Simon Sinek mentions in this chapter 9, he wrote the book. He was in the World War. He was in the Second World War. And then in 1948, he wrote a book titled 1984. In 1948, they lived in the season where expression was stifled. People could not talk. Freedom of speech was not, in fact, it was rare in the days of Adolf Hitler. After all of that had happened, freedom of speech was hard. So what Apple sought to do in 1984, when they launched their new product in 1984, the Macintosh, when they launched the Macintosh, they wanted to break the paradigm. They were breaking the status quo. So you see how Apple really seeks to touch hearts in a way that Apple was giving by launching the Macintosh. They were giving people freedom of speech easily on their feet, on their hands. People could express themselves anyhow by simply typing and transmitting and sending messages and spreading information the way they wanted to. So Apple, from the very onset, has sought to touch hearts in a way that it will leave people. Their why has been so strong from the beginning, such that so they broke that paradigm. It had existed for a long time, but now Apple came with the intention to break that status quo, to break Orwell's intention in his book. And that is why they used the slogan 1984 won't be like 1984. Now they were referring to the book that Orwell wrote and upheld, in which he upheld the totalitarian regime, in which he was trying to strengthen the totalitarianism. So once Apple did that, they won hearts forever. So people don't follow Apple for the mere following. So when you communicate your why in a way that will last in the hearts of people, in a way that people will know that they will benefit from it any day, anytime, in a way that they will know that even generations beyond them will benefit from it. When she shared with me, I was so excited. I said, whoa.
I know that's an extra that I didn't even know, because I was looking at it.
And you see,
I was like, this, okay, wow.
Yes, that's what 1984 means in there. When she read it for the first time, she said,
I couldn't even get it.
Yes, this looks like 1984. I said, what's 1984? She said, let me read further. I'll tell you. And then she read, yes. And then she brought it, she opened it up to me. I was so excited. I said, Apple. And that is why Patience is in class. Patience, that is why Steve Jobs will not leave this book. Simon Sinek will not leave Steve Jobs and Steve Womack alone. That's why they'll continue to trend, maybe till the end. So I'm so excited to share this part that I learned, and it is about bringing out our why.
That's really interesting. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about communicating our why, like you said, Lady Love. If we communicate our why with clarity, if we can breathe a spirit into our why. I was drafting a note for my boss the other day, and I said, I was inspired to write. I was inspired to write that thank you for communicating the spirit of the file effectively. When I said that, why popped up in my spirit? I said, this is like a why. This is like saying she communicated the why of the file to me, such that it was so easy for me to treat. It was so easy for me to handle. So when we communicate the why effectively, I'm so excited. I'm really because this just comes home. It just comes alive. It just makes life and so many things easy. It brings clarity to so much. If we would only communicate our why effectively and see from where Apple got theirs, they broke a status quo. Yes. If 1984 by Ornell is like this, if George Ornell propagated this and it lasted this long, then they can break it by just simply twisting it to favor one individual. Their focus is not everybody. I was talking with mom once, and she said to me, not everybody will hear your voice. To our coach D, she said to me, not everybody will hear your voice. Don't seek to talk to everybody. And I'm like, it's not like I heard it for the first time, but the way she said it, it came alive that day. And so Apple did not, from the very beginning, when they set their why, they were not looking for the whole world or see their impact today. Yes. They were not looking for a huge clientele. So sometimes we fail because from the onset, we're spreading our tentacles too far without communicating to the people who should carry the vision at the time and start to spread. You see that hierarchical order, Lady Love. You see the hierarchical order of having the why at the top, the how in the middle, and the why at the bottom, and the what at the bottom. When we succeed to set that structure and start coming down gently, gradually, touching the how, we get it.
See, but because the outsiders don't care. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, but I just want to add, the outsiders, the marketplace are the outsiders. They don't care what is going on, the why, how, and what. They don't care. They want to get what they want to benefit from that company. And when they don't see it, they leave.
Yes.
But meanwhile, for that company to be what it is, the why, how, and what has to be in place. Go ahead.
Yes.
Continue.
And Pastor Millie, you may not know Power Guarantee. You may not know, well, you know Dangote. Around here, he's super known for his for the cement. But he was able to breathe his spirit. He was able to effectively communicate his why. When he came, Semencam, our those who are not Cameroon among us, but I think I can only just pick you alone. When the Dangote